How about we lean into that trust, into that reality that we all come from the same source. We are all made of light. And that by each individual shining bright, it allows others to feel comfortable enough to be themselves and shine their light. And eventually it's a ripple effect. And unfortunately, it seems to be the slow, long game. But maybe this transformation and milestone is that many more people waking up that much more quickly. And the rest of us being here, shining our lights, saying, hey, come on over here and I'll support you as you go through this. Welcome to the Energy Within podcast, helping you to embrace your weird, remember who you really are, and take action on your soul's purpose. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki master teacher, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this is episode 203. And I went with a card pull today because I was having trouble pulling my thoughts together on what exactly I should talk about, and I have, as always, multiple ideas. But trying to decide was getting challenging. So, I forgot to get myself a cup of coffee. And here is a completely random, but maybe not, random tidbits about your coffee mug, your intentions, your energy. I love coffee mugs. I find them to be cozy. But I'm curious, do your coffee mugs, and perhaps specifically your favorite coffee mug, do your mugs have words and or images on them? And if so, are they, I guess, positive, for lack of a better word? Are they snarky and sarcastic like some of the ones that I've seen? Or are they fun and lighthearted? Do they have positive, uplifting affirmations and messages on them? There is no right or wrong answer, but just a minor energy direction thing to consider, because we usually start our day with coffee and that sets the tone for the rest of the day. So does your coffee mug say F off? Or does it have something more personally aligned or personally uplifting? Because the F off could still be aligned. But what kind of tone is it helping you to set for the day? And again, not a right or wrong. I'm not telling you you can't have a snarky or sarcastic coffee mug. But, if maybe you're struggling energetically a little bit, it could be something to look at. Currently, the one that I poured a cup of coffee that I certainly don't need because it's way too late in the day. Also, it's now 4:44 as I'm recording. And yes, I'm having coffee at 4:44 in the afternoon. But this one says love with a little heart on it. And I chose that one on purpose. And just out of curiosity, because I don't remember the specifics of every angel number, let's look it up real quick. Support and guidance around you. Ask for help. That's interesting. Because as I did this card pull, there are specifics that I could tie this to and what I believe this relates to for me, what it could potentially be talking about, but I don't want to go there. We might go there without getting specific. But in response to last week's podcast about a plea for more positivity in the world, this is my own personal feedback to it. So, of course, we had the fires in Maui. We've had apparently what seems like a bazillion more wildfires spring up across the entire world from what I've seen. And just more stuff showing up. We're not going to get into it, but just as a fact of what I'm hearing, I hear a lot about them trying to push that there's another COVID variant out there and the possibility of masks and lockdowns and all that coming again. So there's a huge energy, naturally, in response to stuff like this of frustration, stress, worry, fear, just generally in the collective. Because as I keep saying, and I would assume you've noticed too, that it's literally one thing after the other with like not even any time to recover from the last thing before something else seems to go wrong in the world on a global scale or in some type of massive proportion since 2020, really. I mean, perhaps it was kind of that way before, and maybe we weren't all just paying as close attention as maybe we do now. I don't know. I don't really know, because I didn't pay a ton of attention. I like to think I knew what was going on in the world, but not to this hyper aware level that I think a lot of us are at, just as a natural response to this. And with access to social media, the internet, we get to hear about everything, or at least what feels like everything. I highly doubt we're actually hearing about everything. We're hearing about what's getting pushed, what's getting the most attention, the most traction. Some rightly so, maybe not for others, who knows. But I maintain that there has to be more light and more good in this world. And what I wrote in response to someone on my Facebook who was feeling as though the light was starting to die out on the planet a little bit. Personally, I feel like it's just that there's so much light now. There's so many people awakening to who they truly are and what they're really here for. People standing up more for what they believe in. And I feel like the darkness is just fighting back so hard in response that it's just that much more noticeable. There's that much more going on because there's so much light. So the darkness is just fighting back really hard. So they're becoming even more noticeable. And again, not going to go into specifics because everyone is entitled to their own opinions and what you think is the good side, what you think is the evil side. I, again, also here maintain that the ultimate end goal, we all want the same things. What's causing the issues is that we have different beliefs on what the path is to get there. But that's not where we're going with this. It kind of is, but it isn't. The point is coming through in the card pull that I did. So regardless of what's going on in the world, so I feel like I went off on a little tangent, but maybe I didn't. So in response to my plea last week for more positivity in the world, while it seems like more and more things keep happening, there's more to be fearful of, there's more to worry about, there's more to be stressed out about, pissed off about, frustrated about, and one thing right after the other. And then also seeing posts from friends and then just random posts that I come across. One happened to be of a woman who I don't know, but someone who was just recording a video, crying a little bit and just extremely frustrated that she makes a really good amount of money and yet is struggling to get by just because of the state of everything, how expensive everything is, inflation, all that jazz. And seeing things about how much more it's costing to live per month lately, and seeing even in a friend's situation how expensive and how ridiculous it can be, the process to even just get a decent apartment, and how much a single person has to make just to afford like a basic studio apartment in many places. So all of this going on, and people dealing with direct effects of living through their house being burned to the ground, of living through not being able to afford basic necessities. It can seem, and no one said this to me, this is just my own thoughts, it can seem a little out of touch to be like, well, let's be more positive, let's have hope. let me first say that if you're in any of those situations, if you're at rock bottom, if you're in the middle of an extremely unfathomable, awful situation, there's no timeline on how long you're allowed to be upset or how long you're allowed to grieve or whatever emotion it is that you need to go through. There is no timeline. So there's no intention of telling you to pretend to be happy or pretend to be positive for the sake of trying to move things forward. Sometimes you're just existing and you do what you got to do to get by. My plea for the higher level of positivity is for those of us who are able to hold it, and particularly to hold it for the sake of others who, for whatever reason, cannot. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't mean it in a sense of, please carry this burden of holding this light for somebody else who can't. I don't mean it like that whatsoever. More like that idea of shining your light so bright and trusting that someone else who needs it can benefit from it, trusting that it doesn't take anything from you. Like that metaphor of one candle lighting other candles. That candle continues to burn with the same flame, the same brightness. It loses nothing by shining its light and even sharing it with others. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it's what needs to happen. So if you're in one of those dark spaces, I hope that you can feel hope and lean into physical guidance and help here among other people on this planet, but also lean into your spiritual team. And I guess all I can say is that I pray that you're able to trust and have that even little bit of hope and not feel guilty or shameful or like you are unworthy if you need to lean into someone else's light and someone else's hope to lift you up, to get you to the point of having your own level of hope. I hope that makes sense. But here, so the card pull. This is really interesting. So I thought maybe I was going to go in reverse order of how I pulled them, but I think I'm going to go in the order that I pulled them. So I got 2 brand new decks over the weekend, and I'm really liking them. I got the Angel Answers by Radley Valentine. So pretty, really bold, rich colors. Like they remind me, if you remember I don't know if they still make them. I think they do. The bold Crayola markers with like the real deep purples and magentas and stuff like that, and the teals. Like those were my favorite. And it has all of those colors, and there's a lot of gold mixed in too. And then I also got the Quantum Oracle by Sandra Ann Taylor. And this is the same woman who made the Energy Oracle deck that I typically use when I'm doing general readings. And I really like this one too. But some really interesting cards and even alignment in which order the cards came out on top of each other. Maybe I'll snap a picture and post it on my social media so you can see. Obviously, you'll have to check. Hopefully you're listening to this the day of. Or maybe I'll put it in my feed. I don't know. We'll see. If you are listening to this on Wednesday, look at my stories and you'll be able to see it for sure. And then perhaps I'll also make it a feed post. But from the Angel Answers deck, I got, and I didn't ask a specific question other than what do we need to talk about on the podcast? No need to worry. It's up to you, and trust. So this Angel Answers deck, there's actually yes or no cards, so you can ask yes or no, and you can even ask when. There's timeline cards here too. But then the biggest section of the deck is just Angel Answers. What do you need to know from the angels? And I'm going to read some of this to you because of how it aligns with the other cards that got pulled. So, no need to worry. Your worries and concerns regarding your question are unnecessary. So whatever you're worrying about, there's no need to worry. Your angels have the situation well in hand and everything is going to turn out perfectly. So the first thing that popped in my head as I was saying that was just going back to these people in Maui dealing with these fires that leveled their homes, their entire community. And when you're in that space, that's where I know there's plenty of people there from what I see who have hope, who are working on bringing the community together to do what needs to be done, to get help to everybody. But leaning into that trust, remembering that, yeah, you're going to still need to take some real action to get to where you need to be. You can't just sit there and lean into trust and hope and pray and not do anything. But do what needs to be done with that level of trust that it will all work out. And at bare minimum, I mean, I'm always going to believe that it's because of God, that it's because of the universe and the energetics at play, your guides, your angels. But it's also happening because you're a magical being too. And you're powerful. And you have the ability to make things happen in your life. You have the strength and the power to do what needs to be done. To get it done well, to get yourself to a place where you're going to get both what you need and what you want. So anyway, back to the book, obsessing over this subject isn't helpful. The energy of fear and worry only slows the eventual manifesting of your desires. Visualize loving and happy outcomes and keep your thoughts positive. Very soon you will wonder why you were worrying about this at all. Then we got It's Up to You. Kind of what I was just saying. The end result of the situation you asked about is entirely in your hands. You can affect the outcome by taking a proactive approach to solving any challenges. Stand in your own power and have confidence that you have what it takes to bring about a happy ending. Don't wait for someone else to rush in and take charge. In order to come to a successful conclusion, this situation requires your unique perspective and experience. My mind is relating this to all of the fear about whatever may be coming in the future. Stand in your own power. You can affect the outcome by taking a proactive approach to solving any challenges. That's all I'm going to say. And then the trust card. This is a time for trust. Sometimes there is no yes or no to a question. There are situations where we are better served by not knowing what is to come so that the miracle can unfold before our very eyes. Trust that your angels have something amazing in store for you, even if they can't quite tell you yet what it is. Okay, so then I ended up pulling 5 cards from the Quantum Oracle, and I didn't have a plan for a certain order that I was going to lay them out or what each card was supposed to mean, but I laid the first 3 cards directly under the other 3 cards, and then I put one off to the right side, kind of tied with the card to the right, and then one more card off to the left side, sort of tied to the card on the left, but kind of really to both the angel and the Quantum Oracle card on the left. And it'll make more sense when you can see the picture. But here's what's interesting. Under the No Need to Worry angel card was victim mentality. Under It's Up to You is the fear card. And I know that the No Need to Worry card is the one that mentioned fear, but hold on. And then under the trust card is the deception card. Right next to that, kind of laying a little bit over the deception card, is transformation. And then off to the other side by No Need to Worry and victim mentality is milestone. So I am going to post this in my feed so that you can see. So go and look. In fact, you should actually, while you're listening to this, even be able to go and look at the spread while I'm talking about it, and it shouldn't pause the podcast. So right under No Need to Worry, we have victim mentality. So before I read you the book explanation, to me, that's just noticing when you fall into a victim mentality, because that's typically part of what's causing our worry, that we fall into a victim mentality, stressing that everything is happening to us and acting like we have no power or not as much power as we actually do in our own lives. When I talk about power, I never mean it in terms of power over anybody else. It's always our own personal power, our own personal responsibility, because that's all we have actual power over. We can influence and we can plant seeds, but we have no control, and we never should have control over where that's going to go. But victim mentality, taking your power back. So in this card, a man is hunched in one corner with a rope tied around one wrist. The other end of the rope is tied to a bedpost. Next to him is a picture of a waterfall with the water flowing out of the picture, splashing around him. Though the water represents his spirit trying to lift him up, the man feels hopeless, resigned to his situation, even though he has the freedom to untie the rope and leave. He has the freedom to take action. He has the freedom to get up. But he's not remembering that there's no need to worry. You may have a victim consciousness about a situation you're in or about your life in general. Although you are feeling powerless, unable to direct your destiny, you are like the man in the card. You have the power to untie yourself, stand up, take action, and move on. And I'm sorry, but I gotta tell you, I'm thinking about the movie What About Bob? If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. I highly recommend that you watch it. There's a moment where it's Bill Murray, and he plays Bob. And basically he's annoyed and frustrated his psychiatrist to the point where his psychiatrist is trying to get rid of him. So he's tied him up in the middle of a forest. He's strapped actual bombs to him. But Bob is so enthralled with his psychiatrist because he believes that he really is helping him, that he thinks it's all fake. And he's trying to figure out what the message is behind him being tied up. And he's like, I'm tied up. Yeah. That's it. You're saying I'm all tied up inside. And these phony bombs mean that if I don't untie myself inside the emotional knots, I'm going to explode. But you know what? It's the same thing here. You have the power to untie the knots. Baby step, untie your knots. Only some people are going to get that reference. Anyway, back to the book. There's something so disabling in the victim mentality. It can create a paralysis of will and energy that keeps you absolutely stuck. This is me now. You have to take action. You have to take action. Your attitude may come from the situation or from a power-hungry person trying to control your life. Your mindset may also be sourced in a story from your past where your power was stripped away. Either way, you must untie yourself from this negative pattern. Open yourself to the strength of your spirit and reclaim your right to direct your own life. Even if you've had this powerless view for a long time, it's time to stand up for yourself now. Whew, I'm not going to get into specifics. Okay, the fear card, directly under It's Up to You. A frightened woman looks down a ridge that drops sharply below her, though in the distance is the peace and safety of her beautiful and stately home. This card indicates that a fearful attitude has overtaken you lately, and you can't seem to break away from the anxiety-filled view of things. There's one thing after another, right? There may be, in fact, something problematic in your daily life. If so, the issue has consumed you, and your worry has actually made you feel like you've lost your power completely. This is not the case. You do have the power to turn things around. Look, it's the same message from the victim mentality card, basically. You have the power to turn things around, and you certainly have the inner strength to choose a more optimistic and self-directed approach. This card could also indicate a strong pattern of self-imposed worry when there's really nothing to worry about. Like the woman in the picture, all you have to do is look around to see the peace and beauty already in your life. You can work on letting these negative patterns go. Choose the energy of trust instead of fear. And, see, there, the energy of trust, because we got the trust angel message. And know that you have the power to handle anything that may come your way. It's up to you. We got the It's Up to You card. Your self-trust honors your soul's strength. And then we got the deception card. This is under events. So there's different kinds of cards here. There's consciousness, energy, cycle, events. I forget what else. There's a few others. Intention. I'm not sure if there's people. So take the deception card, how it makes sense to you. I know how I'm thinking about it in relation to this. But it says, someone close to you may not have your best interests at heart and in fact could actually be working against you. This could be a person or people at work, or it may be a friend or family member. It could manifest as subtle manipulation or come in the form of a significant betrayal. The deception may be a more personal one, however. Is there something you're ignoring or even lying to yourself about? Could you be betraying yourself in your choices or in the way you treat or talk to yourself? Whatever may be going on, don't panic. Hey, no need to worry. Whether it's an inner or outer issue, you can stand up for yourself. Look at that message, standing up for yourself, coming through again and again here. You deserve honesty, respect, and support. Give these to yourself and request the same from others. Choose to act on your own behalf. As you do, you will attract increasing support. And this transformation card that's laying over it, transformation on one side, milestone on the other. The transformation you're going to go through as a result of you standing up for yourself, not living in fear or the victim mentality anymore, leaning into trust, remembering that it's all up to you, taking action, moving yourself forward, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard to have trust. Continuing to take action, trusting that you, in conjunction, co-creating with God, the universe, can make the outcome happen that you want. It's going to be a transformational milestone for you. This is you waking up even more to the reality around you and the reality about who you are and why you're here and how powerful you truly are. I'm feeling now like this has been a long-winded way to explain that no matter what seems to be thrown at us, either personally but also especially as a collective, this one thing after another, the only way to make it stop is to stand in our own power. And I don't mean getting obnoxious. I don't mean yelling, screaming, getting in people's faces, sending out another frustrated energy and response. I mean kind of what I mentioned before, standing up to the bully, standing in your power, that you get to decide who you are, what your life looks like, in a way that is of the light and from a place of love, not just for yourself, but for other people. If we say no to all the things that keep getting dropped in front of us with a little note of, hey, here's the next thing for everybody to fight about. Here's the next thing you need to pick a side on, which also goes along with, hey, the side you typically lean towards, they say that about this situation. And if you don't agree with that, there's something wrong with you. Or you can't sit with us. I find that all so ridiculous. Can we all collectively just say no? We're not gonna fight anymore about stupid shit. How about we lean into that trust, into that reality that we all come from the same source. We are all made of light. And that by each individual shining bright, it allows others to feel comfortable enough to be themselves and shine their light. And eventually it's a ripple effect. And unfortunately, it seems to be the slow, long game. But maybe this transformation and milestone is that many more people waking up that much more quickly. And the rest of us being here, shining our lights, saying, hey, come on over here and I'll support you as you go through this. Which now seems like a good place to give you your final reminder here on the podcast that the end of August, so August 31st, my birthday, is the last chance to get into Glow, the Confidence Club, which I might change to the Confidence Collective, for the founder's pricing, which is only $33 a month. So if you know that you either need or want, desire that guidance in your life to help you navigate through all of this, to help maintain or improve your confidence level, to guide you through all the crap that seems to be going on in the world so that you can continue to shine your light, find your purpose, and do what you know you're here to do, please get in now at Founders Pricing. There's two options. There is a VIP option if you want some one-on-one support, and it's a really good time to get in because the VIP which includes a monthly one-on-one, is right now less than the cost of just a random one-off one-on-one session. But otherwise, no matter what, the base pricing, $33 a month, you get one Reiki session a month, one group Reiki session a month, one live meditation a month, which I have been intending to turn into MP3s. Still need to do that for the last two, but I promise they are coming. And then down the line, there will be fitness classes. There will be sound healings. I've been teasing a little bit of sound healing on my Instagram, so if you want to go check that out, let me know if those resonate with you, pun intended. And then once I get comfortable enough and feel ready to put together an entire full meditation style sound healing, those will be released inside of the membership included as part of it. So go ahead and jump in. The link is in the show notes. Let me know any questions that you have, and let me know your thoughts on this card reading. Let me know if it resonated with you. Let me know if you would like your own card reading, especially if you want to try out these angel answers cards with the yes or no cards and the timeline cards, like when is this going to happen? You can actually ask that with these cards. So kind of fun. These decks are still new to me because I just got them this weekend, but if you would like a reading from one of these decks, either the Angel Answers or this Quantum Oracle card deck, let me know. Reach out. You can just go on the website and purchase a card reading by email and let me know in your response, because it'll prompt an email that asks you to respond back to me with a topic or anything you have a specific question on. And you can tell me there which deck you would like me to use. Or just feel free to reach out in my DMs on Instagram or Facebook, and I can give you links there and we can chat a little bit more to get you a reading. So I hope to see you inside the membership. Price is going to for sure go up starting in September. So if you would like to get in on that, make sure you get in now. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.